All right, guys, this is Andre with Love Crossing Borders. Glad that you guys are having a wonderful day. You know, it's usually me and Andre together, but I'm here with my boy, Scotty, in the building, just coming from the States. He's going to be spending 30 days here in Cali, Colombia to see how Cali is. He wants to know, he wants to immerse himself in the culture, want to learn a little bit more about Spanish. He's in Cali, so he's going to learn a lot more about salsa music and salsa dancing. We're in a great area. Let you guys check that out in the background. So, but the first thing we're going to be doing today, guys, we're going to be doing an interview with a dude from UK, my man, Alex. We're going to find out what Alex's experience has been like thus far here in Cali, Colombia. Because you guys already know, where we go, that's where you go. I'm Andre. Usually I'm here with Andrea, and we are Love Crossing Borders. Right. Okay, let's walk, guys. Well, let's get ready to head on out of here.
Because some of the things.
All right, guys, this is Andre, Love Crossing Borders. Here with my man Alex, who's from the UK. He's going to give us a little bit of information on his experience here in Cali, Colombia, guys. First thing I want to ask Alex was, how have your experience been here so far in Cali, Colombia?
Okay, so yeah, obviously you have a lot of misconceptions about Colombia in general before you first travel here, and I'd never really heard anybody talk about going to Cali. It was only because I came here to learn coffee. I'm interested in opening in the coffee business. And there's a barista course here that I'm doing, so that's what brought me here in the first place. I've never really been someone that lets another man's opinions, be it in a book or a film, put me off going somewhere. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, obviously we've all seen the movies, and most people just think that Cali and Colombia is just drugs, right, nothing else. So basically I was very surprised at how friendly the people are here. Like, you know, obviously you've got good and bad people everywhere, but they're really friendly. Yeah.
All right, great. And would you consider Cali or Colombia one of those places that you return to? Would you come back to visit or come back to live here or whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, I've already fallen in love with Cali. The problem is that depending on your business, like, it's a great place to live for lifestyle, but obviously you've got to pay the bills as well.
True.
As I don't speak fluent Spanish, but I'm learning, that means that I'm kind of limited for options here. So simply put, Cali's somewhere that I do intend to return to a few times a year, and as I continue to do my coffee feasibility study, because it's not far from the regions, the coffee regions, Pereira and Armenia. Yeah.
Armenia.
So yeah, but basically I hope to keep coming back to use it as like an Airbnb base for my research.
Now, you mentioned the value of learning Spanish, and a lot of us want to learn Spanish just to be able to socialize or just go to the grocery store or network with people. From the business perspective, like you were talking, how valuable do you think it is to learn Spanish?
It's invaluable. You have to, I think you won't really penetrate the community and make any real friends, right? And if you don't, yeah, because like when you go to another country, if you want to connect with people, you've got to communicate. So
this is
true. I practice for 1 hour a day, and I'm now beginning to understand. I couldn't communicate, not perfectly, but yeah, I can hold a conversation with a taxi driver who's normally difficult.
Right.
They're the worst Spanish, right?
So, yeah, I'm at that point. I'm at that point where I can at least converse with a taxi driver. Yeah. So it feels good to be able to do that part.
But yeah, no, for me, you can't come to Colombia if you don't make an effort to learn Spanish. I recommend you learn before you come, and there's so many ways of doing it. The best method I've found is called the Michelle Thomas method. I'm not paid for telling you about this. It's just a very good. You can get it on Amazon. You can download it or get physical CDs. It's unbelievable. Michelle Thomas method.
All right.
It's brilliant.
Okay. And are we crossing over, or are we heading straight?
We're
going around the bend, guys. We're about to get some good footage of the area of Cali. And once again, Now, you had mentioned in regards to your research when it comes to coffee and things like that. I consider Colombia, the country itself, a country with open opportunity as far as business is concerned. What do you think about that in regards to Colombia? What's your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Medellin is now opening up more.
True.
I've heard a lot. I heard that there's a lot of opportunities there. Obviously, I believe there's quite a lot of opportunity for like property real estate. That I know that is an emerging market. I don't really know what other opportunities there are in Colombia because I'm not really looking into it.
Right.
So yeah, I know that there seems to be quite a lot of digital nomads that visit Medellin as one of their bases.
What was the term that you used earlier?
Yeah, there's a book I read called Nomad Capitalist.
There we go, Nomad Capitalist.
That's what I am.
All right, that's what I like to hear. I like to hear individuals that are coming out to other countries, no matter what country it is, and seeing the beauty of opportunities there in their newfound country that they may be visiting. You and I talked a little bit earlier about tourist trapped cities or countries that we are finding that so many tourists are coming to particular countries that they're ruining the country as far as the cost of living may be going up because of so many tourists, the value of or the opportunity to acquire certain things as far as like it was easier to get this particular thing. Now because there's so many tourists, you can't get to that location or you can't go into that location. Have you found what countries, as you and I had discussed, what countries that you have found may be or may have been impacted by tourism, but not always in a positive way?
I mean, obviously, I can mainly relate to places in Europe because so many British have gone there every year. You know, they kind of ruined it. But then you've got places like some people would say Thailand. That's what, you know. If what you're saying is
right.
Value for money, you've got to have a happy medium of the people earning a good standard of living. So everybody wants a life with no limitations, but at the same time, you get to like a tipping point where Cali at the moment is obviously like maybe I don't know Costa Rica was 20 years ago.
Right.
So
right. Good point.
Like in a way, I didn't really want to do the interview because of the purpose that I don't want. You want to come here. Everybody wants the same thing, right? You don't want it spoiled. You come here because there's an element of exoticness or excitement because you're not surrounded by Americans,
right?
And I'm not surrounded by British,
right?
So I'm not saying it's something that would happen overnight, but yeah, you know, I think the only way that will work is you have, like for me, you have like a base and you spend 2 to 4 weeks there, and then you go on to somewhere else.
Right. You get a chance to find out what country or what city works best for you, not just necessarily because everybody else is going there. And I think that's a mistake that I see a lot of people make. And that's why I love Cali, because it's still under the radar.
Yeah.
It's still one of those locations in the country of Colombia that people somewhat still take for granted. They're so easy to go to Medellin and Cartagena or go to Bogota that they kind of overlook Cali and the coffee regions like you and I mentioned before, the Manizales, the Armenia, the Pereira areas. So that's one thing that I can say.
I think this is that where we're walking now is like the Beverly Hills of Cali.
Yes.
You couldn't walk around as comfortably in
with a camera out.
Yeah, so I'm not meaning to be negative, but what I'm saying is that you've got a couple of pockets of places where you can go and you can walk freely, but it is still peligroso a little bit. It's still a bit dangerous in, you know, certain places. It's got a while to go before your normal non-streetwise tourist can walk freely anywhere. Around here, no problems, but in the sense, you know, like you still have the problems with that scopamine. Like if you go out at night in the city or if you're drunk and you're in the wrong place, they hit you with that scopamine. Like I've never even heard of that anywhere.
And give those that haven't heard of that, let them know a little bit about what that might be.
So okay, all I know is it's some kind of native indigenous plant, you know, that they basically, however they make it or use it, they can blow it in your face or they can touch you and how you doing, and as they're touching you, and basically you kind of get you like hypnotized.
True.
And then they take you to the ATM, you give them all your money.
This is true.
Yeah, if you're lucky, that is just that. So it's not an everyday occurrence, but it is a threat if you're not aware of it.
Right, correct. Andrea introduced me to being very aware of where you are and who's touching you. Yeah. She's very sensitive to, she doesn't like people to be touching all on her because of exactly what you were describing. So, okay guys, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make it to our destination. We just walked past the go-kart place. We got a chance to get a little bit of information in an interview with Alex. The last thing that I want to ask you, Alex, is in regards to Colombia itself, what would you say to somebody that's in your area and they're thinking about visiting Colombia? What recommendations would you have? They have fears. They've heard all the stereotypes. They've heard all the lies. What idea or recommendations would you have or suggestions would you have for them that are thinking about coming to Colombia?
I mean, first of all, I'd say I've travelled all over the world. I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the smallest. Fear stops you from achieving so many goals. Do your research, obviously, but look at a broad number of opinions. Read a book, and obviously there's so much support online now. Communities, blogs and forums. Like anything, be respectful. You're not in your own city. It's easy to kind of forget that. But yeah, go for it. Amazing food, amazing weather, and some very kind people.
True.
I actually have to say that in all my trips to South America, I've never had one problem yet. In London a month ago, some normal people crossing London Bridge, stabbed to death.
Wow.
So, danger can find you anywhere.
That's absolutely correct. Well, guys, we want to say that we appreciate you guys checking out this episode of Love Crossing Borders with my man, Alex. We're going to get to our destination, guys. We've got a little bit of things to take care of. But once again, my name is Andre, and we are Love Crossing Borders. Thanks, guys. See you on the next episode.